Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. Ours is a place where dreams take flight, voices are heard, and stories are shared. This is where cultures meet, connections are formed, and ideas are transformed into action. This is your destination for authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives, and meaningful conversations. We're where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover our world of education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our USA Global TV channel and download our USA Global TV app. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. With heartfelt thanks to our executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, music scored by Yifei Tang from Cloud Road Music, creative direction by Paul Garcia, and I'm Al Cini, and I'm very proud to be part of the USA Global TV and Radio family. So join us here at USA Global TV and Radio. Make us your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Thank you for being a part of our global community. Let's inspire together. Welcome home to USA Global.
Well, it's Monday again, everybody. Welcome to You as a Whole, Body, Mind, and Soul. I'm Justin MIRIGLIANI. It's great to have you here. And if anybody wants to chat in, please do. And the topic for tonight is don't let your past derail your future or destroy your future, however you want to say it. It doesn't matter. And I want to start out with a video of somebody I met this week. Today is the 40th anniversary of, for me, a very momentous occasion that wasn't good. Pelle Lindbergh, who was a Philadelphia Flyer, was the best goalie in the National Hockey League. You know, I'm wearing his jersey again this week, one more time. You can see on the back here. If I can get around, there we go. Lindbergh. He died 40 years ago. Today, well, the accident was 40 years ago today, and he died after they took him off of life support. It was the first time I encountered death. It was the first time that I ever heard the terms brain dead and feeling empty and all these things as a 10-year-old that were really tough to swallow. And last week I did a show on Pelle because we had the producer, Charlie Min, who created the documentary, and he allowed me 40 years later to be the MC of the question and answer portion of the documentary last week. And I did it twice, and I could not have been more honored to do it. It was incredible. What a feeling to 40 years have things come full circle. But what I want to show you is a video, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. Hey, Claire. Welcome, Claire. Claire's always here every week, and I really appreciate that. What we're going to do is play this video, and this video is from the person I met last week. Her name is Kathy McNeil. And Kathy McNeil was in the car with Pelle Lindbergh. She's a survivor of the accident. And for the first time in 40 years, she was able to meet the people who saved her life. Love the full circle. Yeah, it is full circle. And that's Claire's business, actually, Full Circle Wellness. So check that out. You go to www.fullcirclewellness.com. But let me share my screen. Let me see if I can do this right here. Let me share the screen. If I can, it's not a disaster, but we'll test it out here. And yeah, it looks like it's going to work. I'll share the entire screen. And let's see if we can watch this video. It's not too long. Bear with me. Let's get into it. Here it is. This is Kathy meeting the first responders for the first time in 40 years. So that was the film that I was able to capture of Kathy meeting the first responders. Oh, you're welcome, Claire. She says, thanks for sharing the love. And it was love. That whole place was love last week in two places. I was in Oaks, Pennsylvania, and then I was also in Voorhees on Friday. And what made me think of the title of the show is something that I learned from Rolf Benerschke, who's a kicker, or was a kicker in the NFL, and he kicked with an ostomy, and I'm an ostomy patient. Thought my life was over. And one thing that he always says is you could choose bitter or you could choose better. And Kathy McNeil, I didn't know her a week ago, but I picked her up at the airport on Tuesday of last week, and we talked extensively about the accident and about what the last 40 years were like and how she felt and what she went through and what it feels like now to come full circle and all those things. And Kathy chose better instead of bitter. She is not angry about the accident, even though Pelly, when he made a mistake and did something that he shouldn't have done, he was drinking and driving. In the 80s, remember, it was a little bit different. It's not, wasn't looked on the same way it is today. But her life could have been, it was changed forever, and it could have been ended on that night. And this is the anniversary, November 10th. That was 1985. And now it's November 10th, 2025. To put that in perspective, that's 40 years. In 1985, 40 years earlier was 1945. And that really was something that struck me when Charlie talked about that and talked about how um, it's amazing how different times are. You know, if you think of 1945 to 1985, that's another world. But now we're 40 years from 1985. It's another world again. It just keeps going. But Kathy is an example of not letting the past destroy her future. She's had a great future. She was in a music video. She was a model, beautiful girl, still beautiful. Was a model in her younger days. Was in, like I said, music videos with Motley Crue. What else did she do? She was in Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. She got to do that. She got to do a couple of movie shoots. Just some amazing things where she had a choice. She could have just said, you know what, this accident has hurt me. Uh, she has scars from it, physical scars. She has pain or numbness in her face. So there are scars that came from that accident, but what she chose was being better and not bitter. And I think that's a testament to who she is. And it was so nice meeting her this week and getting to know her. 10-year-old Justin would never, ever have thought that that would happen. There was no way in the world for me to ever know that the kid that was sitting on his bed crying because one of his heroes died in a South Philly row home and looking at his picture in a magazine thinking, how could this have been just months ago? And now all of a sudden, you know, it's all over in the blink of an eye. It was just impossible to comprehend. And that is something that Kathy's had to deal with. That's something that she dealt with personally, being in the car, seeing someone that she cared about die in front of her. That's something mentally that's hard to get through, let alone her physical pain that she suffered. But she doesn't let it ruin her future. She's somebody who really looks forward to not only the future, but also the moment. She's in the moment. We had dinner together. We talked a lot. She was so warm and so open, and she talked about how she felt now and what it was going to, you know, what her life is going to be like down the road, and looking forward to, you know, grandkids and things like that. And I just was really happy for her. It just felt good to be a part of that. And that led me to think about it a lot more. In my life, there have been a lot of moments that have hurt me, and I look back on them, and I don't necessarily like them. I don't feel like they were great things, like having surgery to be an ostomy. That wasn't something that I would have chosen, certainly. Um, Being an ostomy patient isn't something that I revel in. It is what it is, but I'm not going to let it destroy myself going forward. I'm just not. And as we talked about, I'm very open. This past summer, I was in a psychiatric ward for depression, going through a divorce, watching my kids suffer through the divorce, having to sell a house that we've been in 19 years. My business falling apart. 23 years. You put your heart and soul into something for 23 years, and to watch it just fall apart is heartbreaking. And to not be earning the money that I was earning before, and hoping that there's somebody out there that's going to hire me with enough pay that I can still make the living that I need to make and put my kids through school and all of those things that are so important. And I know it sounds probably pretty, I don't want to say unusual, but you might look and say, well, this was only 4 or 5 months ago. How are you as happy as you are right now? And it's because I decided that I wasted enough of my life worried, scared, depressed, anxious for things that either A, I worried about that did not come true, or B, I worried about and they came true anyway. And I ruined the time up to that point. And I wish it didn't take me to my 50 years to learn that. I'm 50 years old. So 47 years of thinking that way had to be changed. And I was able to do that. I was able to change it. Now, I'm not saying that I won't have days where I'll revert back for a day or two and then have to keep going forward, but I have the tools now. My problems are still there. I'm still in the middle of a divorce. I'm still losing the house. I'm still struggling to get the kids through college. My charity, I'm fighting like crazy with the help of Kevin Pulse, who's been a great friend, and other friends who have been so supportive or trying to get me back on track with the charity. I'm substitute teaching now, get to work with kids, at least for a little while, and work with kids who with special needs, which is pretty fun. Challenging for sure, but also fun. And it's just it's a decision that I had to make. Where was I going to live? Was I going to allow what hurt me so much in the past? And my ostomy surgery was 10 years ago. Was I going to allow that to make me want to live in the past and before all that stuff happened, going back to my college days or my childhood days? And I was talking to my daughter about this today. She's 19 years old, and we were talking about all the blows that she's taking right now, all the punches that are currently hitting her in the face. And there's no doubt that that's happening. There's no doubt she's losing her childhood home. She's not going to the college that she wants to at the moment. There are so many things that are going against her right now. And I sat her down and I said, don't make the same mistakes I did. Don't allow fear to make all decisions for you. Don't allow the worry about what if I make the wrong decision, not allow you to make a decision, because that in itself is a decision. And I'm talking about college. I mean, she's in college right now, but in community college, and she absolutely doesn't like it. She just doesn't, she's not a fan of it. She's not enjoying herself. She's not having the college experience that she wanted. And she said, well, I'll just stick it out and get it over with. And I told her, I said, no, I said, that's not the answer, because she said, well, I don't want to have to make a decision. What if I make a wrong decision and pick a different school and I don't like it? But that's a decision. Even in itself, no decision is a decision. You're saying, I'm not going to make a decision. You're deciding not to make a decision. So no matter how you slice it, it's a decision. There's Claire again. High fives from Claire. Thank you, Claire. So that's what I told her. I said, you just have to take a shot and see what happens. If you love it, great. If you don't love it, you transfer to another school. That's all. Or you take a year off. But she's losing a lot this year. But she has the choice to be bitter or better. She could dig her heels in and say, you know what, I'm angry. And I'm angry that the family's breaking apart, and I'm angry that I'm losing my house, and I'm angry that I'm not going to the college that I wanted to go to. And she could just be bitter about it. Or she could say, you know what, let's find a better way. Let's find another route. And I told her, if you're unhappy, don't stay there. Don't stay there because it's not worth it. And it's the same thing I told her when you get a job. Loyalty is great. It's wonderful. But loyalty to yourself is more important. This is not 1950 or 60 or even 70, where people would get a job and stay there for 30, 40 years, then retire. It doesn't work that way anymore. And there's no loyalty on either side. There's no loyalty on employer side, and there's no loyalty on the employee side. And there can't be, because large companies do what they have to do to make money. That's the way it works, whether you like it or not. And I don't, but that's the way it is in capitalism. They can let you go at any time if it's cost effective for them to do it. And they're not going to worry about how you feel about that. They're not going to worry about, can you put food on the table? They're not going to worry about, will you have benefits? They're not. And that's just the way it is. That's not a slight. That's just the way it is. Again, not a fan of that, but that's the way it is. So I told her, I said, if you get a job out of school, just like school, you have to make a decision. Where do you want to work? You have to work. Unless somebody hits the lottery, you're going to be going to work. And I told her, I said, when I got out of college, I had 2 jobs when I started and my career. And I hated them. I hated them. I would sit, both jobs, I would sit in the car when I would get to the parking lot, almost in tears, just with my head against the steering wheel, thinking, I cannot believe I have to live another day like this. Over and over and over again. And I all I could think about was, if this is life, if this is what it's all about, then I want no parts of it. So even back then, I made a mistake. I stayed too long. I was miserable and I lived in misery. I just said, you know what? That's the way it is, and that's the way it's going to be. And that's it. I shouldn't have done that. And I told her, learn from my mistakes. Don't make the same mistakes that I did. Learn from the mistakes I made. I should have left that job. I should have left both of those jobs much earlier and done something different, whether it was in the same field or not. And I didn't do that. I allowed fear and the worry of the unknown make decisions for me, and I was wrong. I shouldn't have done it. I should have made my own decisions. And it's a shame that I had to live 50 years or whatever you want to count the years, because obviously I don't remember my first 2 or 3. So if you want to count it as 47 years, it's a shame that I had to do that. But you know, it actually in some ways might have been a blessing, because now I'm able to be more in tune with my own children and see those patterns that I pick up on that maybe somebody who did not go through it won't pick up on. The whole thing of reframing has been amazing to me. It's really made a difference. So I could look at myself and say, man, you know, I wasted a lot of life. There's a lot of my life that could have been better, could have been more fun, could have been more exciting. And I could think that way. Or I could think, maybe I went through all that for a reason. Maybe I went through all that because now I can help my kids if they fall into that pattern. I could pick it up. Or a couple months ago when I got in a car accident, reframing it. I mean, the first thought was, I'm very angry that I'm in a car accident. I got rear-ended by somebody who was careless, and my car was totaled. In fact, it was totaled the day after I paid it off. So I was very angry. And my thoughts were, and my back is injured. I have back injury that I have to get taken care of. And I'm not happy about that. It's not something that's, you know, something that I celebrate, obviously. But reframing it, what if I took another route home? One way to look at it is, I wouldn't have been in that accident. If I took a different route, that would never have happened. Okay. But what if I took a different route home and there was a worse accident? Maybe I avoided a head-on collision that would have killed me. I wouldn't be here doing the show tonight. That's reframing. I'm not saying it's always easy. It's not. It's not easy. But it has helped me tremendously to go from woe is me, life stinks, I can't get through all this, I'm never going to get by, I'm struggling, to being probably as happy as I've been in 30 years. And that's exciting. I wake up in the morning and I'm looking forward to the day. I want to be there. I want to be support for my kids. I want to be support for my friends. I want support from my friends, from my kids. I want to get everything back that I lost as far as confidence goes. And I feel confident. I feel good. I feel like I can handle things that are going to happen. I know that and I told my daughter this today, there are going to be more times where there are going to be punches in the face. And some of them are going to be really hard punches in the face. The loss of loved ones is inevitable. Can't change it. And I'm not saying that it won't be devastating. And I'm not saying that there won't be days where I might not be able to get out of bed and, have a day where I'm going to suffer. Yeah, those things are probably going to happen. But what's not going to happen is they're not going to last weeks. They're not going to last months. They're going to last for a while, for a little short time, a couple days. And then slowly but surely, the reframing comes. And part of that reframing would be, yeah, I'm sad about this loss, but I'm also thankful that I had the time that I did have. And that's not usually me. That's a different person. I've never been optimistic. I really haven't. I've always been a pessimist. I always felt like the other shoe had to drop. If something good happened, then something bad had to counteract it. And that's not true. That's just faulty thinking on my part. And I realize that now. And I'm glad that I realize that now. And I hope by me telling people this that they feel or understand that negative thoughts, A, don't help, and B, don't change anything. I can worry about my own death and worry that, and I do. I mean, I think everybody has a little bit of fear of mortality, but I'm going to die one day, regardless of whether I worry about it or not. I don't, I don't get a say in that. That's just how it is. So do I worry about it and wreck what I have left? Or do I not worry about it and carpe diem, seize the day, and just have a good time and be responsible, of course, but enjoy life and do the things that I want to do and be the person I want to be. That's what I'm gonna have to choose to do. I just wish I didn't waste as much time, but it's not too late. I'm 50 years old. If we're running if we're driving a car for 100 miles, I'm probably 60 miles down the road. I know that. I know that I don't have half my life left. I get it. But I can make the next 30, 40 years as great as they can be. And that's what somebody like Kathy's doing. And Kathy's about 10 years older than I am. And she's vibrant. She's excited about life. She's somebody who is giving. She's worried about how other people feel. She asked me how I was that day 40 years ago. What was it like for me? She wanted to know what it felt like to be on that side, to be a little kid and see a hero just pass away in the blink of an eye. It wasn't me, 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 me. It was, how did you feel? What was it like for you? And that's not easy to do when you're the victim of an accident like that. I'm just checking the time there real quick because I know we want to make sure we stay in the time parameters. But that's the important thing, is to enjoy what you can, when you can, how you can, as best you can. Nothing, I teach this in classes a lot of the time. I've done this in project management classes. I teach project management, both Microsoft Project and also the actual practice of project management. And one of the things I tell people is it's very, very rare in life, period, whether it's in a project or anything else, where everything goes 100% smoothly or 100% poorly. So when you look at a project and you say, wow, you know what? The first 2 months, we really struggled. We weren't on time. We were behind schedule. We were over budget. This was just not good. But it's a year-long project. That doesn't mean that it's going to end behind schedule and over budget. Maybe at the 6-month mark, you're ahead of schedule and under budget. Maybe when it's over, you're ahead of schedule and under budget. Just because you started out where it wasn't going as well as you wanted it to doesn't mean that the whole thing's got to be ruined. If you go on vacation, go down to the beach, you go down the South, Myrtle Beach, whatever, and it rains. You're there for 7 days and it rains 3 out of 7 days. Well, a lot of people will come back and say, you say, how was your vacation? And most people come back and say, oh, it was terrible. It rained. The weather was awful. It was a terrible vacation. No, it wasn't. You had 4 good days of weather. You didn't have, it wasn't a total loss. And on those 4 days, maybe you went to the arcade with your kids. Maybe you played board games. Maybe you ordered room service and watched movies. Maybe there were some great memories that you made in those 3 days where you were not out on the beach. Yeah, sure. You wanted 7 days of great weather. I get it. But life doesn't work that way. You don't always get 7 days of great weather. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's 4 days of bad weather and only 3 days of good weather. But again, what do you want to focus on? Do you want to focus on what was bad or you want to focus on what was good? And I've talked about this in other shows too. People always say to me, I always hear this, I can't be positive. I can't be excited about anything until my scars heal. Scars don't heal. That's just it. Scars never heal. They are the healing. That's what a scar is. It's your body healing wounds, not the other way around. It's not a wound that you carry around forever. We're all scarred by things, all of us. I'm scarred by 40 years ago, being a 10-year-old, finding out what brain dead means. I'm scarred by the loss of people who meant something to me, family members who I've lost. My uncle passed away a year ago, 2 days ago. It was just a year or 2 days ago. That stunk. It wasn't a wonderful thing. It wasn't something that I'm not scarred by, but I'm not going to let that ruin my future. I'm not going to let that destroy it. And same thing when I lose my parents. I lost grandparents, and yeah, it was hard, and it's going to be difficult. But I for a long time thought, if I lose these people, then I'll never recover, and that's just not true. I'll recover. It might take time, but I'll recover. And that's really what the message is tonight. I'm not going to let the past or the present, both, destroy my future. Just live in the moment if you can. It's not always easy. You're not going to be successful 100% of the time. That's just not feasible. But do the best that you can. And that's all I'm saying, is just be the best you can as much as you can. Because you don't know how long you have. You don't know what you're going to be doing a year from now, 40 years from now. I didn't think I would be emceeing a movie about a hero to me in front of celebrity hockey people in the NHL. That's a National Hockey League for those who are outside of the country. I didn't think I'd have that. I didn't think I would be part of a movement to try to get Pelle Lindbergh's number retired. That's something that's fun for me. It's something that's exciting for me. It's something that I never would have dreamt of, even 20 years ago when I started writing a screenplay about Pelle Lindbergh. That's something that every November 10th, I remember it like it was yesterday. Now, would it have been the same if I was 20 years old at that time? No, probably not. Definitely not. It would have been different, because a 10-year-old experiencing death for the first time is a lot different than a 20-year-old experiencing death for the first time. Both are painful, but there's a difference. The brain is completely different at 20 than it is at 10. So the time, what did it mean to me that time too? That time, my birthday's on December 20th, and my dad is the 21st, my mom's the 28th, and then we have the holidays in between. And I remember birthday parties, laying down on the floor with my cousins, especially my cousin Joey, who's been one of my best friends my whole life, even though he's quite a bit older than I am. He's 20 years older than me, 19-ish years older than me. But we've been very close, and he introduced me to the sport. And when I would watch hockey with them, it was around the holidays. The hockey felt like family. It felt like camaraderie. It felt connection. It was just a feeling that was so incredible. And it's something that, as I said in other shows too, the beauty of it is the sad part of it. And the sad part is you don't get to live that again, but that's the beauty of it, that it happens only once. It's a double-edged sword because yeah, you pine for one more chance to live that. And yet you can't because it's not that time anymore. It's gone. So it's a mixed feeling. It's bittersweet. But this week I had a chance to kind of tap into that a little bit. Tap into that feeling a little bit, that 10-year-old boy. And no matter how old we get, there are different stages of our life that stay with us. I have a 10-year-old boy inside me. I have a 20-year-old boy inside me. I have a 31-year-old boy inside me who had a child for the first time. I have a 36-year-old man inside me when I had my second child. I have a 40-year-old man inside me when I had my ostomy. And now I am a 50-year-old man. And when I'm 60, the 50-year-old man will still be inside me. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. I think that is just the way life is. And as human beings, that's the way we are made. So my main point is that you do have a choice. You do have a choice. You could get help to get better, like Kathy did, like I did. I voluntarily put myself in the hospital because I knew that I could not fix myself on my own. There was no way. I just didn't have the capacity to do it. So I got the help I needed. It's no different that when I had that precancerous condition in 2015, where I had to go to a hospital and have surgery and have my entire large intestine removed. I didn't want to do that. It wasn't fun walking into a hospital knowing that your life is going to change dramatically and mourn who you were and wonder who you will be. But I did it because I had to do it. It's the same thing, people who did what they had to do during Vietnam. My dad went to Vietnam. There are a lot of people he knew that went to Vietnam. And my grandfather was in World War II. And they saw things that they didn't want to see. They didn't want to be there. They were there because they felt they had a duty to the country to be there. But that doesn't mean that there weren't injuries to them emotionally, if not physically. And those emotional scars stay with you. They don't go away, but they're scars. They are the healing. It's not the wounds that stay open. It's the scars that go over the wounds that close it. And that's what I'm trying to do now and trying to make a part of my future is that I'm not going to let things get me to the point where I can't function or I can't enjoy life. There are going to be moments where I can't, but for the most part, I'm going to change my thinking. And I have. Even I noticed my temper, which I've had a temper for, I'll admit it, for a long time. For most of my life, I had a bad temper. I haven't lost my temper at all in the accident I did. When I got in the car accident, I lost my temper. But I think that's justified. I think that was part of the moment. I'm human. I'm not saying that I have some magical powers that I can turn off feelings. And I do get angry inside, but that doesn't mean I explode anymore. There's no more road rage. There's no more being angry at people or holding grudges. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to do it. I'd rather live happily in peace and be who I am. And if people like that, great. If they don't, I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. But my hope is that people will say, "Hey, it's great to be in his presence. I really enjoy being around him. It's something that makes me happy." And Kathy said that many times over the last couple of days and over the past week, and that meant a lot to me. It really did. And Kathy, if you're watching, I want to thank you for that. Or if you watch the replay, I want to thank you for that because that's something special. She actually told me that she probably would not have done the film if I didn't write her a letter and tell her how much it would mean to me and to Charlie to get the film done. That's really something that's going to stay with me forever, and I'm glad about that. That's not a scar. That's something that really will make me feel good for forever. So I know we're up against the clock. I just want to thank everybody for listening. I hope all of you understand that this is a work in progress, that you're never going to be done doing this work. It's always going to be a process, but you can get it done, and you just have to work at it every day. And if you fall back, you fall back, but keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. Choose better instead of bitter. All right. So until next week, I want to thank you all for watching, and looking forward to seeing you next Monday. Have a great rest of the week. Have a great weekend. And we'll get together again, same time, same place next week.
Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? In a world quick to judge, one book dares to reveal the hidden cost of silence. Discover holy but harmful, the silent sin of judgment, how hidden judgments destroy relationships and damage lives, by Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. The Amazon #1 bestseller that's transforming the way we understand ourselves and the way we see others. Pick up the companion workbook to uncover your own hidden judgments and learn how to break free from them. Available now on Amazon and at fine bookstores worldwide.
Every woman carries a story of strength, of purpose, of light. Through her courage, the world is transformed. Through her grace, generations are inspired. This is Iconic Women. Within Every Woman Lives a Goddess, a celebration of brilliance, beauty, and empowerment. Join us every Wednesday at 11 a.m. New York, 4 p.m. London time, only here on USA, Global TVR, and radio. Featuring the iconic Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, honoring voices that shine across the world. Subscribe to our YouTube channels, USA Global TV and Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, to watch and engage with all our content. World-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to TracyCramPerkins.com. Tracy Cram Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.